said no. It's just not a good time.
Have you considered that he hates you?
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to my review for the first 2 episodes of the brand new Frasier TV show that has returned to our screens in 2023. Right, okay, so this series obviously is the return of Frasier Crane, and Kelsey Grammer obviously returns as Dr. Frasier Crane. We have Jess Salguero, Anders Keith, Nicholas Lyndhurst, yes, you heard me right, Nicholas Lyndhurst from Only Fools and Horses, and Jat Cutmore Scott. Right, the story this time is Frasier has returned to Boston. He is doing a quick stop off after his father's funeral. As you know, the guy that played his father, Martin Crane, died in 2018, John Mahoney. So they addressed that at the beginning of the show. And he's off to visit his son, Freddie Crane, who is now a grown adult in his 30s. However, he is not particularly welcomed by his son. They have an estranged relationship. And in order for him to try and rebuild that relationship with his son, he decides to take up an offer to lecture at Harvard. So he decides to stay in the city, buy a flat so that he can get closer to his son. Right, what are my thoughts on the first couple of episodes of the return of Frasier? Well, I am a huge fan of the original Frasier TV show. I've got it on box set. I revisit the episodes very regular. It's a show that both me and my wife really enjoy, and it is definitely my favourite American sitcom. So I had mixed feelings when I learned that Frasier was returning, and this has been touted for many years. Kelsey Grammer has been talking about it for a long time, wanting to return to the character of Frasier. And it's finally happened. Now, for those of you who don't know much about this, there is really only Kelsey Grammer that's returning here. Now, Perry Gilpin, that played Roz, I believe, is going to turn up in one of the episodes. But there's no Niles, there's no Daphne, there's none of that, really. It's a whole new set of characters surrounding Frasier. Now, my takeaway from the first couple of episodes is not all positives. I have to be really honest here. Because my thought patterns going into this was I was really hopeful that it was going to capture the Frasier magic. However, I don't think it's managed to. There are moments in this show, the first 2 episodes, there are moments of life here where you get glimpses of the old Frasier. But it's not necessarily the comedy that does it. It is more the heartfelt moments, you know, the bits where he is, you know, connecting to characters and trying to connect with his son and trying to, be that Frasier that is very, very heartfelt and emotional. Those are the bits that remind me of the old Frasier. I have to say, many of the gags just didn't hit for me. They felt forced, and I got an overall feeling of flatness watching the first couple of episodes. And I can only be honest with you, and I came away dreadfully disappointed after the first couple. I don't think this is tragic. I mean, many of us who were fans of Frasier were going into this very, very hopeful that it wasn't going to stink the place out. And I don't think it does stink the place out. I hope it can turn it around, because I am going to carry on watching it. There are some interesting moments here, but I think some of the mistakes they've maybe made here is because Niles isn't returning. David Hyde Pierce apparently didn't want to return as Niles. They have cast Anders Keith as David Crane, who is Niles and Daphne's son. And they've tried to create this younger version of Niles, you know, this bumbling, clumsy, awkward twerp, really. And, you know, all respect to Anders Keith as an actor, he is no David Hyde Pierce. And it just comes off as awkward, I think. The dynamic of Frasier trying to reconnect with his son, I think, is clever, because that's exactly how the original Frasier started, with Frasier trying to reconnect with his father. You know, that makes absolute sense. And that has real potential here. It really, really does. But again, there's not... I don't know, there's just something missing with that relationship. The chemistry maybe between the two actors, maybe it will improve. But you can really tell from watching these first 2 episodes that Kelsey Grammer is really trying here. He's really trying to tap into that Frasier that we all love. You know, that snob who's got a real charm and heart about him. And it's just lacking that spark, I think. Hopefully they can, you know, find it as the episodes go on. I'm very, very hopeful, because I don't think it's all bad news here. I really don't. And I do think Nicholas Lyndhurst does a pretty decent job here. We all thought I certainly thought it was odd casting Nicholas Lyndhurst playing, he plays a guy called Alan, who essentially is an old friend of Frasier's who works at Harvard with him. And I didn't mind his character at all. I just thought it was, you know, a bit odd, certainly for us Brits, to see Nicholas Lyndhurst. It does add a little bit of summit to the sitcom, and it's a fairly interesting addition. So, if you get an opportunity to check this out, give it a go. If you're a massive fan of Frasier, I'd be surprised if you didn't come away a little bit disappointed with the first couple of episodes. I certainly did. My brother, who's arguably an even bigger fan of Frasier than me, he actually was more positive about it than I was the first couple of episodes. But I'm going to carry on. Fingers crossed that we do get some real spark going in this show. And I'm also hopeful, you know, that I will connect to some of these characters a little bit more. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed checking out this review. If you did enjoy the review, please click the like button. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And of course, I will be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.